3 creepypastas, 3 voxel arts based around them. Again, I'm narrating these stories for creative purposes only, and they may mention not safe for work things. So, on to the first one. Alarm clock. My alarm clock pulls me from my sleep. I hate it when it does that. I love sleeping. It's a very good way for me to relax and pass the time. I lift my head and take a glance around. My room's floor is covered with piles of dirty clothes, and the bland white walls that make up my room surround me. I hit the snooze button and drift off to sleep. My alarm clock wakes me once more. As I lift my head once more, I take another glance around my room. Cockroaches move up and down across my clothes like little mountain men, and cracks start to form in my walls. I hit the snooze button and drift off to sleep. My alarm clock pulls me from my dreams like a fisherman yanking a fish out of the water. I swear to God I will throw this fucking alarm clock against the wall. I think as my head arises again. I do another first glance around the room. My room is gone, and I am surrounded by trees and plants, and bugs crawl up and down my bed. I hit the snooze button and drift off to sleep. I jerk my head up, pick up the alarm clock and throw it as hard as I can. I take a deep breath and look around. I see nothing but a barren wasteland. As I look, I start to hear a faint whistling that gets louder by the second. I gaze up to see a nuclear bomb falling 100 yards away. It hits the ground with an ear-splitting thunderclap, and a big roar as a mushroom cloud arises. I drift off to sleep as the roar fades into silence. Lightless city. Do you have someone to hate? Someone you would do anything to hurt? Pay any price for vengeance? If so, you may want to consider visiting the Lightless city. To get there, go to any decent sized city and find a deserted alleyway at night. Go into it and close your eyes as tightly as you can. Whisper "Lightless city" and concentrate on the darkness. You've probably noticed that there are faint colours and abstract shapes. If you try to focus your eyes when they're closed, watch those images go by. After a few minutes, the images should start to get clearer and brighter. When this happens, they'll start taking on detailed forms, images of violent murders, deformed animals, and similar things. No matter what you see, keep your eyes closed. You'll start to lose track of time, but eventually the images will stop, and you'll see pure darkness. Nothing but deep black, no colours or shapes. When you're certain that you see pure darkness, open your eyes. You will now be in a very dark city. There won't be a single light or star in the sky. You should be able to see a faint dark blue outline of the tall buildings surrounding you. Make your way out of the alley and walk as quietly as you can down the sidewalk in any direction. If you hear any movement, run as quickly as you can away from the noise. There are animals in the Lightless city. It's too dark to make out the details, but they're the size of a large wild felines. and will kill any human they catch. Keep moving until you reach an area with smaller buildings, the edge of the city. A child will approach you, his face dully glowing, letting you see that he is eyeless. He will ask, "Will you share your light with me?" Say yes, and the child will reach for your face and rip out your right eye. It will be painful, but there shouldn't be any bleeding or open wound. The child will thank you and leave. Keep walking, and a tall man will appear before you, whose light you wish to have taken away. Speak the name of the person you hate, and as soon as you say their name, they will go completely and irreversibly blind. Is your hatred satisfied? The man will ask. If it is, say yes, and you will awaken in the alley. If not, say no, and the man will disappear. Keep walking. You will come across another eyeless child. Will you share your light with me? Say yes, and your left eye will be torn out, leaving you blind. Keep walking, and the tall man will appear again, although you, of course, will have to rely on his voice. Whose life do you wish for the darkness to claim? Say the name of the one you hate, and they will die. You will not be asked if your hatred is satisfied this time, and you will not be able to return to the alley. I told you to make sure you really hated someone before doing this. You will spend the rest of your life wandering around Lightless City, blind with only your hatred to keep you warm. For some people, that's enough. Room 210. Of the places that you would think are haunted and creepy, hospitals and nursing homes at about 1 AM are the worst. Death and illness run the halls of these institutions on a daily basis. The walls become infected with it. The floors and fixtures are run down by it. Each room becomes a cell of this thing, and at times makes it appear living. Let me tell you a story about a particular room, one that has become known as the Death Room. That room is 210. Incident 1. From what we know, the real disturbances in this room began after the death of a male patient. We'll call him Jerry. Jerry was well known to the nurses because of his frequent attempts to make himself vomit. He would stick his entire hand into his throat and make himself gag. Jerry even got to the point with his illness that no one would believe him when he said he was sick. Then one particular day he began complaining about having a bad headache. After repeatedly pestering the nurse, she finally told him to go and lay down, and she would bring him some pain reliever. Jerry went into his room, cursing at the nurse the entire way down the hall. The nurse, after grabbing some pain reliever, made her way down the hall and entered his room. Screams were heard throughout the facility at that moment, and the other nurses came running to his aid. What they found was horrible. Jerry had made it into his room but hadn't survived beyond that. Blood seemed to be coming out of every part of Jerry. It had poured on the floor around him and was spreading in thin red lines to the edges of the room. The superstition in facilities of this sort is that when someone dies, you open the windows and allow their souls to escape. Proved that Jerry's windows wouldn't open. Weeks after removing his body and cleaning the room, nurses still believed that Jerry was still there, and future incidents seemed to prove that something was indeed in that room. Incident 2. Mr. Rathburn was on his second round at the facility. The first time he had been a pleasant man. He had gone through treatment and had gone home with high hopes. This time he had fallen down and broken his hip. He was put into room 210. The rumours were that he wasn't going to make it this time. The first night it was said he could be heard screaming all throughout the building. Every time a nurse would enter his room, he would sit straight up and tell them that demons were pulling him under. Another time a nurse went into his room, he tried to speak, and it looked and sounded as if someone or thing was trying to strangle him. You could actually see the finger marks. Still, other nurses spoke of a shadow that would sneak down the hall and go into that room, and shortly after Mr. Rathburn would start screaming. The day he passed away, they said, was a dreadful one. He screamed and screamed until his voice was nothing but a whisper. They said that his eyes almost bulged right out of his head in fright. His last words were, "They are coming to get me." Incident 3. Mr. Collins had moments left when they moved him to room 210. His wife was in another room close to his. She spent most of her time at his side waiting for the inevitable. This particular night, however, she had went into her room and crawled into the bed to rest for a while. She had fallen asleep to be awakened by the commotion in the hallway. A nurse ran by her room in a state of panic. Mr. Collins poked her head out into the hallway and noticed that it was her husband's room. She threw her robe around her and headed in that direction. One of the aides tried to caution her and keep her back, but she pushed her way through and into the room. There was her husband's dead body in the bed, with eyes and mouth wide open in terror. All around him on the floor was glass from the lights overhead, but not a piece was in the bed with him. His privacy curtains were shredded from ceiling to floor, as if someone had taken a knife to them. Mr. Collins had to be sedated that night. The memory of her husband's face haunted her until her last moments, but especially when they transferred her to room 210.